Hi, my name is William Schaeffer, and today we have another true story, and that is the story behind Atwaterpub. Now there's a short story and a long story, and first I'll tell you the short story. Here's the short story. My middle name is Atwater, William Atwater Schaeffer. When I was trying to think of a name for my YouTube channel and my blog, I was perplexed. Now, earlier, I have published CDs and I'm registered with the Copyright Office and with the Barcode Association as Atwater Publishing. So at some point, the made-up word Atwaterpub seemed like a good candidate. Everyone can read it, they can remember it, it's phonetically obvious, it's pictorially memorable. Many people think they've actually been to the Atwater Pub in Atwater Village, and that's all kind of fun. And that's the short story. That's why it's called Atwater Pub, Atwater Publishing. And now, the long story. This is the long story. I was actually christened William Allen Schaeffer when I was born. And on my birth certificate is William Allen Schaeffer. And in grade school, I'm William Allen Schaeffer. And in 1 year in junior high or high school, I even spelled Allen incorrectly. Now, in my father's high school, he had 3 other friends, and they were kind of a clique of good friends. It was Glenn Schaeffer, Al Rankin, Jim Duncan, and Ray Dewey. Now, for some reason, it was kind of thought that I was named after Alan Rankin, and after I changed my name, I was told not to talk about that, but that's another story. Now, when I was 9 years old, the family took a trip to see my great uncle, William Atwater. And William Atwater was married to Hazel, who was about 8 years his senior, and they were a childless couple. And William Atwater was my grandmother's, my maternal grandmother, Marguerite Atwater, who married and became Marguerite Snyder. He was her brother, and I believe her older brother, William Atwater. Now, I was 9 years old when we visited them in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the one thing I remember about that trip is lemon blend. And that was a fruit drink that you would mix like 1 part lemon blend to 4 parts water or 3 parts water and get a really tasty lemonade drink. And in the summer, that was a lot of fun. At some point, William Atwater had movies and photographs, and they were talking about the old days, and he mentioned that his grandfather was named William Atwater, and that William Atwater fought in the Civil War. And for some reason, as a precocious 9-year-old boy, seeing that my great uncle was childless, and my own middle name meant nothing to me, really, I declared, I'm going to change my name to William Atwater Schaeffer in honor of you and in honor of my great-great-grandfather that fought in the Civil War. And then all of a sudden, William Atwater, my great-uncle, disappeared, and he came back with a Civil War musket, and some boxes of medals, and a diary, and some other memorabilia of the real William Atwater who fought in the Civil War. And he gave them all to me right there in front of my family. And my mother was nonplussed. So I took them all home with me and kept them in my bedroom. I was 9 years old and didn't fully appreciate it. As time went on, life in my family became more difficult for myself, and I became more and more isolated and estranged. I was sent off to college at University of Illinois. It was very difficult. I dropped out, came home, went back to school, and my life was pretty much in a turmoil, and I left a lot of my personal possessions at my parents' house. I thought they would be safe. But then, after my relationship in Champaign ended, I moved to California and I left all that behind. Then 3 years later, my father died of cancer. And they sold the house and moved all the goods in the household. And at the time, my mother gave all my memorabilia of William Atwater to my two brothers. And I was kind of thinking they were safekeeping it for me. My one brother kept all the medals and awards, and the other brother got the diary and the musket and the drawing. But now, 30 years later, I realize that my mother gave my inheritance to my brothers. And all I have is the name, William Atwater. So I got massively ripped off, but I still got the name, William Atwater. And I chose that name for all the best and most honorable reasons. To honor my great-great-grandfather and the sacrifice he made in the American Civil War. I did not know that there was a musket and valuable memorabilia. That was a gift of my spontaneous and generous kind-heartedness and good nature. And typically, that has been taken from me. But I still have the story, and I still have my name, William Atwater Schaeffer. And everything I do is under the moniker of Atwater Publishing to honor that story and to honor that good nature. But that's the way life is. And I don't know the full and complete story, and I don't pretend to, and life is too short. But I know that I'm William Atwater Schaeffer. Now, there's a funny thing is, I actually changed my name legally. I went to court, and I met with the judge, and then we printed an announcement in the paper when I was in high school. We went through the whole process. And from that point on, I have always used the name William Atwater Schaeffer. But when I applied for a passport, when I was about 30 years old, there was a problem. And I had to get affidavits from my mother, who was still alive at the time, and my brother Brian to swear that my name really was William Atwater Schaeffer. So on my passport and on my driver's license and everything, it's William Atwater Schaeffer. And that's who I am. And you're watching Atwaterpub, which was inspired by Atwater Publishing, which was inspired by my love of art and video, and especially music. Thanks. This is a true story. Have a great day. I'm absolutely unprepared for this. I'm going to take a break.